Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to 22 Panels, the debut episode of season five. Um, wow, season five, episode 210. Across the interwebs from me is
Pinned to a
Phil.
wall, yammering.
I,
You
I
missed my
caught him.
mount.
I caught him off guard. Caught him off guard. Is Phil?
You,
eh,
I will also mention we are the podcast aims to examine, explore, and elevate the medium of comics.
Stealing my
It's
fucking lines.
well, you're doing them out of order. That's
Hey, that's Tyler's order.
that's Tyler's order. I see. I just didn't want people to be confused about what kind of podcast we are.
I mean, if they're confused, is that really on me?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
I mean, we don't have enough responsibility in this world, Phil.
Oh, enough
Get
responsibility.
off my lawn.
Are you saying you and me don't have enough responsibility? That we need to take on more responsibility from that troubled world?
Uh, no comment.
Yeah, no, that's a pile of trouble that I do not want to find myself knee deep in.
So yeah,
Um,
how's your week been, Phil?
oh, it was a blur. It I don't even
You too?
know. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it really for the first time in a while feels like this week went by entirely too fast. Whereas in the past they feel like they've been taking entirely too long. So yeah, time
Mine
is
was fast, fast, crash with a day of being horribly sick, and then fast, fast,
oof,
fast again.
oof. Well, I'm glad you bounced back from that.
I mean, bounce back is a relative term.
Always, always.
Anyway, some news and note. Have you been following the Anga Lem drama?
I have not.
Oh.
The I was more aware of Thought Bubble happening this weekend than
No,
Angoulême.
thought bubble is happening. I mean, there that's one of the key words. Thought bubble is happening this weekend.
Yeah.
Right now, the existence of Angoulême is in jeopardy.
Uh-oh.
The group that has been running it for the nonprofit that I think nonprofit,
Hmm.
the group that has been running it for the foundation that um founded it, not only has had um shady business type stuff with
Mm.
um that's affected artists and whatnot, but on top of all of that, apparently fired a contractor after she reported sexual assault at last year's edition.
Wow. Well, that's fucked up.
Um, so like the last few months have been filled with um creators and eventually even most of the major publishers that are involved um
Saying something.
saying that they would boycott the event if
Mm.
the specific operator boss Frank Bondo
Hmm.
and his group 9E Art Plus
Hmm.
were involved.
Mm.
Um, there was a thing where supposedly it was thrown open for people to present and try to win the contract, but 9E Art was allowed to be in the running, and then go figure, they won, and that
Ugh.
pissed people off more.
Yeah, that
Um,
that doesn't sit right.
the town is starting to get upset, so it's actually become an issue in the upcoming mayoral election.
Wow.
Um,
The second mayoral election influenced by a cartoonist.
right. Uh,
Sorry. Terrible joke. Terrible joke.
the daughter of one of the original founders, who's currently still the head of Association FIBD. At this point, she's been so slow to act and so that like it's not clear that she can stay in her role and
Hmm.
still have people stay. I mean, it's the Angoulême Association FIBD, the Angoulême Festival and Association, which controls all copyrights related to the event, was founded by France's guru Jean Mardikian and Claude Moliterni in 1974. Both Mardikian and Moliterni are deceased, while France is now in his 90s. Had his daughter Delphine um, take his place as the role of president of the association in 2016. Um, but again, her judgment is no longer trusted.
Hmm.
Um, when you've got like last year's Grand Prix winner, who normally there's a big exhibit of their work at the following year, is refusing to exhibit. Um,
Wow.
yeah, so
Yeah, that's huge.
yeah, one of the most um
I mean, it's a
world-renowned comic
yeah.
festivals is not only in danger for like this upcoming year, but it's like in danger um period. Uh Dean Simmons
Yeah.
or Dean Simons at the Beat has been on top of this. I encourage anybody who cares to check out his work. I don't get I kind of jumped in late and didn't read all the earlier stuff, so I don't have a full grasp on everything except that like um particularly when they're unionized as they are in
Mm.
France, I tend towards uh being on the side of the creators.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I mean, dude,
The
this one
fact
too,
that it's the
especially.
creators and the publishers at this point
Yeah.
is pretty damning. And like yeah, it feels like there's a lot of shadiness going on that's been coming to light, and people are, and this is like again one of the world-renowned festivals. Like this is on
Yeah.
my bucket list of things to go to, so I
Same.
really
Yeah.
don't want it to go away before I can do that.
I mean, not only that, but for such a prestigious and again, like you said, world-renowned comics festival is that, we want to make sure that that's run by good people and not people abusing
Right.
their power.
Um, I mean, we have a da, da, da. We
Right now.
have I want to say winner of the Grand Prix
Hmm.
coming up. Um, so if she's comfortable talking about it, because this is definitely not something that I would ever say, hey, I'm gonna like
You want
you
a hot
must
button
tell me
issue?
all about this.
Right. Oof.
Um, but oh, she got the 2020 audience favorite prize at Uncle M.
Oh, okay.
Um,
And I imagine it's the kind of festival that I mean, I hope issues like these haven't been going on for a long time, you know?
yeah, I mean, it sounds like at least the financial stuff isn't necessarily new.
Ah,
Um,
yeah, the joke that came to me too late was, well, of course it's nonprofit, Ted. It's comics.
yeah. All right. So you were laughing because you saw the back and forth I gave with you
Yes,
after you
yes.
said that this is 2 year words. Dictionary.com's word of the year.
Uh-huh.
6-7.
Yeah, but
Yeah, 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 yeah. Shut up.
I just got because
Shut up.
usually we use
Shut
spaces.
up.
to
shut up
denote,
is also two words, but
yeah,
like it's used as one word.
yeah,
Shut and up only
you,
mean shut up when together. They're separate words with you put the two words together and
uh-huh,
you use their original meanings and it doesn't mean the same thing.
yeah, but, but,
Words for dictionary senses have to do with meaning.
sure,
You're talking grammar, not definitional. Shut up. Anyway, 6-7 dictionary.com word of the year. Um, Great write up in the New Yorker. I think the piece of it that I liked the most and will highlight before telling people just go check out the piece in the New Yorker, or at the very least maybe think harder before just bashing it. It says the paragraph that stuck out to me the most, and there were a lot of good paragraphs. There are reasons, though, to think that 6-7 is not actually brain rot. One striking fact is that despite its online origins, the phrase isn't used online. No one types it into a group chat hoping that others will type it back. There'd be no point. 6-7 is something you say in person, out loud, in a group, in unison. It has physicality. It's not content to be consumed. It's a song and dance. In other words, in this increasingly online disconnected culture,
hmm,
somehow 6-7 has become a physical ritual.
okay,
It's about togetherness rather than anything else. And yes, it's silly, but
yeah,
the other great thing that I liked to point out is the problem of meaning in primitive languages. The anthropologist Branislaw Walanowski observed that whenever people get together, they talk about a whole lot of nothing. As much among savage tribes as in a European drawing room, he wrote, social life involves a lot of conversations in which meaning is almost completely irrelevant. Inquiries about health, comments on weather, affirmations of some supremely obvious state of things, all such are exchanged not in order to inform, and certainly not in order to express any thought, but just to create ties of union.
that's a nice sentiment. That's a really nice sentiment. This is unfortunately, it also feels like a party that I not only wasn't invited to, but am not sure exists for me.
Well,
Um,
that possibly is part of the point.
it might be, and that's okay.
So,
I'm
so,
okay with
so,
being the
like,
butt of the joke.
yeah. Well, no, I don't think because it deals with that later too. It's like,
Uh-huh.
oh, some people have posited that it could be, um, it could be like their way of sticking it to older adults or whatnot. But then they're like, but really, is a bus full of elementary school kids that shout 6-7 between the
Uh-huh.
sixth and seventh stops on the route, trying to tell something to
Uh,
the bus driver, or are they just
no, they're making noise. They're having a good time, and that's okay.
right?
That's okay.
Right.
I will express confusion
So what
and
I'll
marvel
say
at my own
is
oldness.
just embrace it.
Yeah, no, I'm okay with
You
it.
hear
I will.
somebody say 6-7, go 6-7. You see a
uh,
kid that just seems shy or whatnot,
hmm.
go 6-7.
That's actually, I like that. That's a good strategy. That's fun,
I'm
you know?
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Just
it's
saying.
something to say when you don't know what to say.
So anyway, what kind of week has it been? So
Oh.
we haven't talked about this at all. What'd you feel about the Dems? Uh the message on Sunday was certainly that they caved. How do you feel?
Yeah.
I would be willing to bet, knowing you, that you were furious as hell at them on
I
Sunday
mean,
night.
I was I was
How do you feel
uh
right now?
I was equal parts how do you say unsurprised and unenthused. Now, I mean, like, yeah, that's I can see why they wanted to reopen the government. You know, I can see they're like, hey, we need this. And
I, I,
honestly,
I mean,
it,
I'll just jump in really quick because
yeah, yeah.
I wrote it at the time to a couple of people. It's like, am I happy that this is the way it went down? No, but we're the party out of power.
Hmm.
We were almost certainly never going to get the ACA subsidies, at least now. And hey, we signed or we approved a really short CR, so we get to try again in January. Um,
Uh,
and in terms of it hurting, like SNAP payments are due.
yeah,
How long do people have to go hungry and have expensive health insurance?
yeah. It's
Because if you think those are different people, you're deluding yourself.
no, no, those are
And
not
they're
different.
not the people making the decisions or the people getting upset because the Democrats caved.
I mean, so I guess the way I'm kind of landing on it here in the moment a week later is do I kind of realize that continuing the shutdown probably would have continued hurting more people?
Well,
Absolutely.
and also what's not getting enough play
Hmm.
is two things.
Yeah.
In fact, one of the things that's gotten play is the concession they made that allowed senators that had their phone records um subpoenaed as part of the January 6th to sue for almost five or sue for up to $500,000. Um, which I'm certain was only a concession to make certain that they got the two things that they added that are important, which are
Hmm.
SNAP benefits are now guaranteed through the end of fiscal year 2026. So even if we shut down again in January, by law and by allocated funding, it doesn't affect SNAP.
Okay.
Same with furloughs. Furloughs have to be paid for and they can't lay people off. This is now codified. So like we know that this administration is completely happy to break laws and whatnot. So whatever happens could still happen, but like
Hmm.
they will be clearly breaking the law if they do those things in January. No
Gotcha.
real wiggle room. Um, sure, they put the thing in saying they could sue for their phone records, but let's be honest. How well would that lawsuit play publicly?
So just to clarify things, who would be suing whom in this instance?
The idea is like Jim Jordan's phone records were subpoenaed
Uh-huh.
regarding January 6th. Not like transcripts or anything, just who he called during those hours
Sure.
on the Capitol.
Yeah. Seems
He could
important.
sue for whatever for up to $500,000 now.
Oh,
Again,
that's an incredibly
again,
yeah.
well, but again, I'd love the discovery in that case.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. That's
I
interesting.
mean,
Uh,
it would be worth $500,000 for the discovery in that case.
I can also imagine, hopefully, we can hope that any attempts at those lawsuits would not go the way of the people enacting them, but
That's entirely possible too.
yeah.
Um,
I
but
guess
but so I mean, but here's the most important thing that a few people saw even Sunday night is
uh-huh.
because they didn't quite pass just the House bill. They passed something that was slightly different, even if not in a lot of major ways and not the way that we had publicly said we required. It
Uh-huh.
was different, which meant the House had to vote on it. The
Tell me
House
more.
having to vote on it meant that the House had to come back into session. The House
Uh-huh.
coming back into session meant that they had to swear in the congressman woman from
Arizona.
Arizona.
Yeah, yeah.
Swearing in the congresswoman from Arizona put the last signature on the discharge petition
Yes.
to release the Epstein files. So that vote will be
Absolutely.
next week, and yeah, that has to go through the Senate too, which may or may not be easy. And after that, it has to be signed by the president.
Yeah.
But as we've seen already, just getting to that point first had the House Democrats release some juicy bits from the subpoenaed stuff from the Epstein estate. And
Yeah.
then the House Republicans in the most clear example of, oh God, we don't have anything good to trickle out. So we are just going to make you guys dive through it all in the hopes that you'll find something
Wow.
other than our boss to go after. Released it all.
So they
Not the
effectively,
FBI files, but the
uh-huh.
26,000 emails that they got from the Epstein estate. So
So the
we
are
know
these,
things like as early as 2011,
uh-huh.
Epstein and Maxwell were talking about how Trump hadn't talked yet and he could.
Wow.
And in 2018, after the
Uh-huh.
time where like he wasn't supposed to be talking to any, he was
Yeah.
talking about the things he knew and would it be better to like refute Trump and prevent him from, or is it we're keep silent and have a favor, or there's evidence that he told the Russians, hey, I've got some things that you might want to know.
Wow.
um
Yeah. Yeah, I've
so
I've
like
I've heard bits and pieces and it's all crazy.
uh Zateo had a really great write up where they went through 26,000 documents and found the good stuff.
Wow.
Um, but it's getting reported a lot of places,
Yeah.
not as the White House would have you think, more than the shutdown is.
Yeah.
But it's also not being ignored, and it shouldn't be, and
Yeah.
it's pretty damning. It should be pointed out that it's not necessarily good for Bill Clinton either. It's certainly not
No.
necessarily good for Larry Summers, who was an economic advisor under Obama. It's not all one sided.
Yeah. And that's,
Um,
and my attitude
which
there is, you know what? They did bad things. They need to go
yeah,
away.
I agree with that too. But it's also another thing that I put on the Biden list of like, why are we having this conversation? For 4 years, the Biden administration could have released the Epstein files.
Yeah, that's a bit of a an eye opener there for sure. Um,
Um,
yeah. And that's kind of where I come down to. So to where I fall, this week on Democrats is basically did reopening the government seem like it did a good thing? Yes. Do would I still like a different Senate leader than
oh,
Chuck Schumer?
absolutely.
Very yes.
I would still happily
I think,
I will still happily primary half the Democrats in
oh
government.
yeah, yeah. I guess it's
Um,
what's
and
coming.
but you know what? That was true while the government was shut down too.
Absolutely, absolutely, exactly. So I guess what I'm thinking, what I'm trying to think in terms of is that we're in a tough spot, to put it mildly, and there are going to be a lot of bad choices that are going to need to be made. Choices where in the short term it might seem like a bad thing that is a stupid idea to do, but in the long term is what needs to happen. And that's
Yeah,
I try to take a,
but
a
but
bigger
I
picture view of
still a
things.
big believer in like doing bad things that affect you and making the decision to do bad things that affect you is one thing.
Yes,
Starving children during
agreed. Yeah,
the holidays,
yeah, fucked, completely fucked.
and
Um,
like that was another thing that I don't think there was enough talk about, is that like as much as we talk about like the Republicans have no conscience and the difference between Republicans and Democrats is Democrats have empathy, blah 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 blah. The people who were really upset that the Democrats quote unquote caved
uh-huh.
are essentially arguing that they needed to not have empathy
Yeah.
for their constituents who were about to go hungry during the holidays, who were
Yeah.
about to not have food while they also didn't have heating subsidies, who were
Yeah.
about to not have food while they also didn't have health care.
I definitely think that they could have done their messaging better in saying, hey, we want to help who we can while we can. The government being shut down
Right,
helps nobody.
right,
And not say things like, we tried to stand up to Trump and it didn't work. You
right.
know?
But that was Angus King. Angus King is an independent,
Ah, yeah, that's also I again, this
you
shows my
know.
general uninformedness of
Right. Right.
you
So
know,
anyway, the Trump administration's major response is that there's a carrier group outside of Venezuela because we gotta take care of those narco terrorists.
Oh, you're saying they shot missiles at another boat,
Oh, well, I
or
mean, yes, they've done plenty of that, but they also
yeah.
have the largest carrier group outside of Venezuela. They have in place what you would expect to be in place if they were going to attack on the ground.
Ah, okay, that's what you mean by carrier group. I wasn't
Yeah,
totally
yeah,
sure of
yeah.
that term. I see.
Carrier
Troop
group.
troop carrier group.
Well, no, the troop carrier starts with a aircraft carrier,
Uh-huh.
but it also has all of the accoutrements, etc.
I see. I see when you
You
say a
don't
carrier
need an
group.
aircraft carrier
Right.
to shoot some fishing boats.
No, you don't. I see what you're saying. Yeah, the carriers and especially multiple carriers. Yeah, that's a
Well,
big.
I think it's actually one carrier, though it's one of our largest,
Uh-huh.
but a carrier group includes like destroyers and
Uh-huh. Oh, okay, yeah.
there's all the things to protect the carrier
Yep.
both offensively and defensively,
It is a is
etc.
a is
I'm not
a
enough a
large
naval
military.
guy to be able
That's
to say
okay.
specifically,
No,
but
and I
like
yeah.
it's a big deal when a
It
carrier
is.
group gets sent somewhere.
Yeah, no. Now that I know what you meant, because I was when you said carrier group, part of me for some reason was like, I'm like, is this about cell phone plans?
I mean, no,
Nope,
it's not couches for JD either.
nope, nope.
Um,
Unfortunately.
though,
Uh,
I don't, South Park, South Park managed to rip Trump and JD and the new Sora video AI all together because the the two running themes in this week's episode were the kids were having like an AI battle, which of course the police were just treating as real. So it's like it started
wow,
with somebody made a video of like Butters having sex with my neighbor Totoro. And
wow.
so the police are then looking for Totoro. Just goes back.
That's
So
amusing. That's
the
pretty
police
funny.
are searching for all of these cartoon pedophiles
Wow, wow,
and
wow.
eventually go undercover as Rocky and Bullwinkle
That's pretty
because none
amusing.
of the kids will talk.
Wow, wow. That's
Um, meanwhile, Trump and Vance get intimate. Um, and when it
oh
gets
no.
out because of the security camera in the Lincoln bedroom,
Mm.
and Maga is upset that he cheated on Satan,
Hmm.
um,
Naturally.
he blames it on Sora. That didn't happen. That was just
Ah, wow. Uh,
so
yeah,
welcome to South Park in 2025.
yeah. That's a heck of a. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in.
Oh, it's been fun.
I just want to say if I could stop imagining Donald in sexual situations for the rest of my life starting now, that would be great. That would be
I
great.
mean, eh, I get it, but
It's like
like
there's
he and JD make a nice couple.
I mean oh God, I just again the contribution I want to make here is does he dress up
I
like a
mean,
couch?
they're
Does he
very
put on a
tender.
couch costume?
They're very tender together.
That's fine, and that's
I don't
great.
know if
You
they've
know,
gotten that far yet.
oh boy.
Maybe that's the next episode where JD starts to not show. And Trey and Matt,
Oh,
if you're listening, I give you this idea for free. You know, JD starts being uh, uh not as not as full on all over Donald. You know, he starts to cool in his emotions. So Donald could dress up like a couch to rekindle the fires of their relationship. I like where you're thinking, Phil.
it's
Uh,
oh I wish I didn't have these thoughts.
all right, but by the time we air, this will have happened, but it's worth bringing up anyway.
Awesome.
Anyone Comics in Brooklyn, which is definitely a store that I enjoy, um, is having a hands-off NYC zine and poster event this afternoon, 1 to 4 p.m. Again, this afternoon means Saturday. You're listening to this on Sunday or later. But people,
Tell us how cool it was.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, anybody who goes, definitely let me know. Um, but yeah, the organized in collaboration with Hands Off NYC. They'll have local artists, etc., there to help. Uh, the event's description is join New York City or New York comic creators to fold zines and make posters to push back against ICE in our city. Stay to fold and color a while or just swing by to pick up zines and posters to distribute in your neighborhood. Creators include Spencer Ackerman, Julio Anta, Joe Illich, Ben Kahn, Fred Van Lente, Greg Pak, and Wendy Zhu, along with the Anyone Comics owner Demetrios Fragiskatos. So yeah, that actually includes four 22 panels guests, and Demetrios is on my short list of people that I'd like to talk to.
Nice.
So maybe I will even just reach out and say, "Hey, can we chat about this?" Particularly because I did see an alert recently that Charlotte could be um the next major city targeted by ICE.
Ah.
Um, and seeing as Charlotte is also a big comic town,
Mhm.
heroes aren't hard to find. It would be interesting to know if the comic shops will start trading ideas with each other,
Mm.
etc.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's can we stop living in a goddamn interesting time? I want to live in a boring time.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's times more interesting than we can handle.
Boring time, Phil. I want a boring time.
Yes,
So let
please. I
so
long for
let's
boredom.
let's talk some new to order comics.
Oh yeah, first up we've got Bloodland from B. Clay Moore and Mac Chatter. This is the United States is collapsing. You don't say. And then there are vampires. President Andrew Cross is deep into an unconstitutional extended term, seized and shielded by executive orders, martial law, and a stacked Supreme Court, with supporting splinter.
What?
Yeah, right. It unimaginable. With support splintering, Cross forges an alliance with a cabal of ancient European vampires. As the White Cell's influence expands, the administration's pursuit of power and blood purity transforms the landscape into a battleground between emboldened loyalists,
Emboldened.
aspiring demagogues, and colorful factions of dissenters. Against it all, Army veteran Heather Brooks is a lone wolf on a warpath to find and avenge her newborn son, who's been sacrificed to the state. And retired pro quarterback Son Cassidy rallies an idealistic resistance. As their courses collide, the two leaders will tilt the odds and change the shape of a cross-country war for the soul of a nation. Sounds, like it's got a lot going
Uh,
on.
too real?
Yeah, yeah. Well, hopefully too real in a good way. But
I mean, the
this one,
vampire cabal would explain a lot.
and of course when they said the white blood or the white cells, that was
Right,
they're
right,
white supremacist vampires. This is all
right,
this is
right,
all come
right,
together.
right,
It's
right,
painting a
right.
picture from Ignition Press, in stores January 14th.
All right. Hannah and the Hells versus the Beatles. When all-woman punk band Hannah and the Hells set out to perform the perfect gig, Satan himself couldn't stand in their way, even if the Hells' ambitions include heisting a gently weeping guitar from the Beatles. It's anarchy in the UK as Hannah, Razor, Trash, and Fetish come together to twist and shout the Fab Four into submission with John, Paul, George, and Ringo needing more than love to make it out alive. God save them. Writer Sam Ashurst is a cartoonist, screenwriter, and filmmaker based in Portland, Oregon. Artist Tony M. Clark is a 70s punk rocker turned 80s psychotronic bootlegger based in London, England.
Heck yeah.
This is from Floating World Comics on sale February 11th.
Very cool. Next up, we've got Holy Brawl from Athila Fabio. When a fearless priest is summoned to perform an exorcism at Lily's house in Germany, he brings along some very unconventional methods and a dark past that's about to catch up with him. An ancient enemy awaits, and what follows is a battle of fists and pure chaos. Get ready for an explosive mix of action, horror, comedy, and killer artwork in Holy Brawl, a supernatural showdown for all ages. From Keenspot in stores January 14th.
Rogue #1 from Erica Schultz and Luigi Zagaria. You can't outrun the past. Rogue has an idyllic life with her sweet Remy LeBeau, but there are still skeletons in her closet. One that comes out when she least expects it. Rogue has worked so hard to leave her villainous past behind. Unfortunately, the past doesn't stay in the past. What happens when it slams you right in the face? What past sin would Rogue leave Haven House? Or would make Rogue leave Haven House? And do Mystique and Destiny hold the answer? This is from Marvel Comics on sale January 21st. I love Erica Schultz's work, so like,
Heck yeah.
I also know that Rogue's another one of her favorite characters. So like, when Erica Schultz gets to work on things that she's geeky about, all over it.
Well, and like I feel like Rogue is a group, I've been observing. I always tend to observe superheroes from afar, and I see that the X-Men line is going with a lot more solo series these days.
Mhm.
Rogue is one that actually makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
She had kind of one before, and yeah, that sounds great. Rogue's cool.
How about some graphic novels, Phil?
Oh yeah, first up we've got Blood Honey from IDW, and by author Sean Peacock. Uh, Young love always feels like life or death, and at this high school, it is in the ex or and at this high school, it is in this exciting graphic novel. In this Burton-esque macabre world, young lovers Vanessa Delamour and Edgar St. Clair are at the top of the food chain at Manderley Preparatory High School. They should be focusing on their upcoming crowning as homecoming king, queen, and king, but lately the duo have grown weary and resentful of each other. While breaking up seems like the easy solution, they've both independently decided that all their problems would be solved if the other was, well, dead. Join up and coming writer artist Sean Peacock in this exciting cat and cat game as two teens try to murder each other in increasingly elaborate fashion. Again, that is from IDW Dark in stores February 3rd.
A Brief History of a Long War, Ukraine's Fight Against Russian Domination by Marian Naum, illustrated by Yulia Vus and Ivan Kipabita from 10 Speed Graphic. The conflict between Russia and Ukraine began long before 2014 war that led to the Russian invasion in 2022. The Ukrainian people have been subjected to systemic persecution and mass atrocities by Russian and Soviet authorities across centuries, from the linguicide of the Ukrainian language and censorship of literature in the 1860s to the Holodomor famine of the 1930s and more. In A Brief History of a Long War, distinguished Ukrainian scholar, activist, and journalist Mariam Naum presents a panoramic view of the major moments in this long-standing conflict, alongside gripping accounts of the historical foundation of the modern Ukrainian state. As we know it today, Naum seamlessly incorporates current narratives about the harrowing realities of war and the lengths citizens must go to survive. This is in stores on January 27th.
I just had to write down the word linguicide. That is way too cool.
It is. It is.
Next up, we have I Can Sell You a Body by Ryan Ferrier and illustrated by George Cambadius. Uh, a down on his luck TV medium finds himself on the run from the cops, the mob, the Vatican, and the legion of ghosts looking for available bodies. This graphic novel, crime comedy adventure. Denny Little is a former TV psychic turned clairvoyant for hire turned supernatural real estate agent. Since discovering he can perform reverse exorcisms, transferring spirits into living bodies, he's become LA's most in demand realtor, giving the dead a new lease on life. But when Denny falls in love with a new property, the family of the prospective tenant, a former mob boss, will get their money and revenge over our hapless hero's dead body. This one is coming from another IDW Dark in stores January 27th. Sounds really fun.
It does. The Pass by Catriona Chapman. In her early 30s, Claudia is fast becoming a sensation on the culinary scene. In the midst of putting her chic London restaurant Alley on the map, she decides to enter the upcoming Chef of the Year competition. All this as she is also attempting to make a name for herself beyond the shadows of her famous chef father. As the day of the competition nears, tensions simmer as the pressures of ambition, business, family, and friendship threaten to throw her world awry. In the past, New York Times reviewed British comic artist Catriona Chapman brings to life the fast paced, high pressure atmosphere of restaurant life with a lived in cast of characters, including Chef Claudia, her best friend and sous chef Lisa, and barman Ben. Chapman delves into themes of identity, the pains of expectation and success, and the allure of running from the life you've built. A sensitive and affecting slice of life rendering in soft digital coloring. In stores from Fantagraphics on January 21st.
That sounds absolutely fantastic.
It does.
Yeah.
Couple of collections.
Oh yeah, first up is Cemetery Kids Don't Die, Volume 2, Run Rabid from Zach Thompson and Daniel Irizarry. 1 year ago, four friends escaped the unrelenting terror of the video game called Nightmare Cemetery. After spending endless hours locked in the innovative Dreamwave, the first gaming song console played entirely while you sleep. In order to save one of their own from the game's all too real consequences, they survived, barely. But after their harrowing rescue, they've decided they've had enough of Nightmare Cemetery and its enigmatic final boss, the King of Sleep. That is, until the newest DLC, The Blighted Sprawl, suddenly appears online with a promise to reveal the truth of what actually lurks at the heart of Nightmare Cemetery's digital darkness, and why its effects are now bleeding out from the real world in an army of bizarre and disturbing new ways. From writer Zach Thompson and illustrator Daniel Irizarry comes the next chilling chapter of cybernetic horror with Cemetery Kids Run Rabid, in stores May 13th from Oni Press.
And finally, the Legend Testers.
Oh,
3900 AD, Rollo Stones and Danny Charters are the legend testers, employees of the Central Knowledge Museum, tasked with taking exhibits back through time to see if they are genuine or not. Using the world's only time machine called the Time Chamber, Rollo and Danny throw themselves into peril, seeking out the truth behind myths and legends. From werewolves to Greek gods, the legend testers are ready to face any supernatural challenge. This collection includes the entire run of the Legend Tester strip from Smash, all beautifully illustrated by Spanish art superstar Jordi Bernay, written by Graham Baker, and this is out from Rebellion on January 14th.
that also sounds incredible. And the
Does.
art looks very
Oh,
gnarly on the front there.
Jordi Bernay is amazing.
Yeah, this is the first I've heard of. I assume him, but
Yeah,
yeah, it
yeah,
looks so so good.
yeah.
Oh, if
Anyway,
if there's yeah.
yeah. Jordi Bernay is fantastic. I recommend highly. New to order for the month of November, brought to you by the Nexus Vault, Laverne, Minnesota, 109 East Main Street. The Nexus Vault, Laverne at gmail.com. Congratulations, Tyler, on opening your new shop. And we can't wait to have you back. So, new comic series. Take it away, Phil.
All right, first up, we've got Archie's Valentine's Day Spectacular from Holly G, Stephen Butler, Lily Butler, Glenn Whitmore, and Jack Morelli from Archie Comics on January 14th.
Astro Quantum #1 from Andrea Moody and Arturo Fabra at Mad Cave on January 28th.
Babs, The Black Road South #1 from Garth Ennis, Jason Burrows at Ahoy Comics, January 14th.
Bloodland #1 from B. Clay Moore and Mark Chatter at Ignition on January 14th.
Club Zodiac #1 from Caden Phoenix, Phineas Conrad, Martia Gomez, and Fanny Arteaga at Keen Spot on November 21st.
That would be January 21st.
January 21st. My apologies.
And The Crown, A Tale of Hell #1 from Mike Mignola, Todd Mignola, and Warwick Johnson Cadwell at Dark Horse on February 11th.
Then there's Hannah and the Hells versus the Beatles from Sam Ashurst, Tony M. Clark from Floating World on February 11th.
Holy Brawl #1 from Athla Fabio at Keensport on January 14th.
Hank Howard, Pizza Detective, The Two Hollywoods, #1 from Robert Venditti, David Lapham, Bad Idea, January 7th. Don't forget, there's a 3D 1 in 50 variant issue.
3D Inside as well as Out. Inglorious X-Force #1 from Tim Seeley, Jordan Bloom, Michael St. Maria at Marvel on January 21st.
Then there's Iron Man #1 from Joshua Williamson, Carmen Carnero, Marvel Comics, January 28th.
Night City #1 from Matt Kint and David Lapham at Dark Horse on February 4th.
Love and Rockets Volume 1 #1 Replicant Edition from Gabriel Hernandez, Jaime
It's
Hernandez.
Gilbert Hernandez.
Gilbert Hernandez. I am so
Gilbert.
sorry. I don't know what I am looking at.
Gilberto.
Gilberto Hernandez. My thousand apologies. Jaime Hernandez, Fantagraphics, January 28th.
Luna Snow World Tour #1 from Greg Pak, Ario Anandito, and Takeshi Miyazawa at Marvel on January 14th.
Magic the Gathering, Untold Stories, Jace #1, Michael W. Conrad, Caitlin Yarsky, Dark Horse, February 4th.
Malevolent #1 from Justin Jordan, John Bivens, Felipe Sobrero at Image Comics on January 28th.
Mark Spector, Moon Knight #1 from Jed McKay, Dev Malia Pramanik at Marvel Comics, February 11th.
Otter Squad #1 from Matt Fife and Matt Rogers at Keenspot on January 28th.
The Planet-Sized Planet Death #1 from Robert Venditti, Derek Kolstad, Thomas Giarello, Bad Idea, January 7th, and that is in 11 by 17 trim.
Rogue #1 from Erica Schultz and Luigi Zagaria at Marvel on January 21st.
Psy, Dimensional Rivals #1 from Peach Momoko at Marvel Comics, January 14th.
The Shiver of Christmastown #1 from Torin Grombuck and Edu Mana at Dynamite on January 7th.
Spirit of the Shadows #1 from Nick Cagnetti, Daniel Ziegler, Oni, January 28th.
Continuing the newfound rekindled friendship between Marvel and DC, they're releasing facsimiles of a couple of Treasury editions featuring Superman and Spider-Man. First is the 50th anniversary Treasury edition of Superman versus Spider-Man by Jerry Conway, Ross Andrew, Neil Adams, and John Romita Sr. from DC Marvel on January 7th, followed by DC and Marvel present Superman and Spider-Man, the Marvel Treasury edition #28 from Jim Shooter and John Buscema from DC Marvel on February 4th.
Next up is Thundar the Barbarian from Jason Aaron, Cuber Ball, Dynamite, January 21st.
And finally, Where Does the Rainbow End #1 from Francesco Perillo and Stefano Cartacelli at Mad Cave on January 14th. Phil, let's talk some graphic novels.
Oh yeah, first up is Blood Honey by Sean Peacock at IDW Dark, February 3rd.
Breakthrough Life on the Brink from Christopher Fink at Fantagraphics Underground on January 28th.
A Brief History of a Long War, Ukraine's Fight Against Russian Domination from Mariam Naem, Yulia Vus, Ian Kip,
Ivan.
Ivan, I'm so sorry, Ivan Kipabida from
Okay.
10 Speed, January 27th.
Cordo Maltese, Fable of Venice and Other Adventures from Hugo Pratt at Fantagraphics on January 14th.
Creatures and Corridors from Brandon Auman and Andrea Moody. Lab. Is that Action Lab or just Lab?
No, that's just Lab.
Just Lab on January 7th.
The Credits Roll Into the Sea, Volume 1 from John Terrakeen at Dark Horse Manga on April 21st.
Cyber Phoenix by Andy Seto, Nakama Press Mad Cave, January 28th.
Essentials Volume 1 from Luke Arnold, Chris Doc Wyatt, Glenn Fabry, Jason Howard, Vince Locke, Brendan McCarthy, Andrea Moody, and M.K. Perker, and Danny at Lab Press on January 7th.
The Extraordinary Voyages, Volume 1 from Dennis Pierre Filippi, Silvio Camboni at Paper Cuts, January 14th.
The Girl Who Draws on Whales from Ariella Cristantina at Dark Horse on March 31st.
Followed by The Girl Who Raised the Dead, Kawashima Norikazu from Uncivilized, January 28th.
Hunger Niharikia from Joe Bacardo at Lab on January 7th.
I Can Sell You a Body, Ryan Ferrier, George Kimbadas, IDW Dark, January 27th.
Johnny Red, A Couple of Heroes from Garth Ennis and Keith Burns at Rebellion on January 7th.
Kanga You, Lost in a Labyrinth from Sholly Fish, Vancy Labat, DC Comics, March 3rd.
The Life and Death of Fritz the Cat from Robert Crumb at Fantagraphics on January 14th.
Luna Express from Campbell White at Top Shelf IDW, February 10th.
Mary Shelley from Alessandro Di Virgilio and Manuela Santoni at Mad Cave, Becca Gallo on January 14th.
My Soulmate by Wa Ki at Nakama Press Mad Cave, January 21st.
Nils, The Tree of Life from Jerome Hamann and Antoine Carrion at Magnetic Oni on January 21st.
Our Little Wild Time by Fred Noland from Fantagraphics Underground, January 28th.
The Pass from Catriona Chapman at Fantagraphics on January 21st.
Pigwife by Abby Luck at Top Shelf IDW on January 13th.
Pirates, Volume 1, Set Sail for Treasure, Alexis Vivallo at Paper Cuts on January 21st.
Pink Monsters by Klaus Daniel Herman at Oni Comics on May 27th.
Punk Taco Adventures from Adam Walenta, Makana Walenta, Kiolo Walenta, and Gabriel Mayorga at Paper Cuts on January 28th.
Serendipity from Gabby Benda, Holiday House, January 27th.
Super Science, Volume 1 from N. Alessandro K. and M.K. Perker at Lab on January 7th.
Theodora's Letters, An Enslaved Woman's Fight for Family and Freedom by Marcelo de Salete at Fantagraphics on January 28th.
Tommy the Coward from Marco Sanseri, Roberto Laciello, and at Paper Cuts on January 14th.
Wallflower by Yasmin Omar Ada from Viking Penguin on January 14th.
White Shadows from Antoine Azanam and Antoine Carrion at Magnetic Oni on January 21st.
And then there's The Woodchipper by Joe Ullman at Drawn and Quarterly on February 11th.
Now for some collections, and a heck of a month of collections.
Starting out, we got Essentia from John Dolmayan and Tony Parker, Blonde Wake Entertainment, January 7th.
Amazing Spider-Man, the classic newspaper strips, 1977, from Stan Lee and John Romita Sr. at Clover Press on February 25th.
Ancestral Recall by Jordan Clark, Adagun Ilhan at Ahoy Comics, April 15th.
Archie versus Minor Threats from Patton Oswalt, Jordan Bloom, Timmy Haig, and Scott Koblish at Dark Horse on March 31st.
Batman Hush 2 from Jeff Loeb, Jim Lee, Scott Williams at DC Comics, March 31st.
The Beauty, Book 1 from Jeremy Hahn, Jason A. Hurley, Stephen Green, Brett Weldele, and Mike Huddleston at Ignition on January 20th.
Bronze Faces, Shobo Schaff, Alexandre Tefenki at Boom, March 31st.
Bitchcraft from Aaron Reese, Lemma Carroll at Mad Cave on January 21st.
Cemetery Kids Don't Die Volume 2, Run Rabbit from Zach Thompson and Daniel Irizarry at Oni, May 13th.
Cold Witch, A Tale of the Shrouded College from Charles Sewell and Will Sliney, Image Comics on January 7th.
The Creeping Below by Brian Azzarello and Vanessa Del Rey, Boom Comics, March 17th.
Dick Tracy, 1941 from Chester Gould and Clover Press, January 28th.
Deadpool Wolverine, A Time for Strife by Benjamin Percy, Joshua Cassara, Robert Gill at Marvel Comics, February 10th.
Don't Forget Your Briefcase from Elliot Rahal and Philip Sevy at Mad Cave on January 7th.
Five Weapons by Jimmy Robinson at Image Comics on January 28th.
George Perez's The New Titans Artist Edition from Marv Wolfman and George Perez at Act 4 Image on July 1st.
Godzilla Heist by Van Jensen, Kelsey Ramsey, IDW, January 13th.
Hellboy Universe, The Secret Histories Volume 1 from Mike Mignola, John Arcudi, Lawrence Campbell, Christopher Mitten, and Dave Stewart at Dark Horse Comics on March 24th.
Jessica Jones, Blind Spot by Kelly Thompson, Matea De Lewis, and Marcio Takara, and Filippo Andrade, Marvel Comics, March 3rd.
Lavender Jack, Volume 1 from Dan Shikade, Jen Manley Lee at Dark Horse Comics on March 3rd.
The Legend Testers by Jordi Bernay, Graham Baker at Rebellion, January 14th.
Leo Rising from Archie Bongiovanni at Abrams on January 21st.
Locus, the Maggie and Hopi stories from Jaime Hernandez, Fantagraphics, January 21st.
Marvel Knights, The World to Come from Christopher Priest and Joe Quesada from Marvel Comics on June 2nd.
The Missionary from Ryan Stegman and Jason Howard at Distillery, February 24th.
My Gun is the Jury and Other Stories from Jack Davis, Wally Wood, Al Feldstein, Harvey Kurtzman, and Jack Mendelson at Fantagraphics on January 7th.
One World Under Doom by Ryan North and R.B. Silva at Marvel Comics, February 10th.
Quick Stops, Volume 3 from Kevin Smith, Ryan Gaja, John Sprenkelmeyer, Mark Rahal, and Ahmad Rafat at Dark Horse on March 31st.
Runaways, Think of the Children by Rainbow Rowell and Elena Casagrande and Roberta Ingranata at Marvel Comics, February 10th.
Spectrum Deluxe Edition from Rick Quinn and Dave Chisholm at Mad Cave on January 28th.
Star Trek Lore War from Christopher Cantwell, Jackson Lansing, Colin Kelly, Ryan North, David Tinto, and Derek Charm, IDW, January 13th.
The Tin Can Society from Peter Warren, Francesco Mobili at Image Comics on January 28th.
Tex Arcanum from Christopher Monfetta, Miguel Martos, Dark Horse, March 10th.
Trinity, Daughter of Wonder Woman from Tom King and Balin Ortega at DC Comics on March 17th.
The Unchosen by David Marquez at Image Comics, January 7th.
Vanishing Point from Mark Russell Wando, Ryan Alexander Tanner, Alberto Ponticelli Jacques at Mad Cave on January 21st.
Closing us out, we have Wolverines and Deadpools, Claws and Mercs by Cody Ziegler, Ryan North, Christos Gage, Roger Antonio, Javier Garon, Alan Robinson, Marvel Comics, March 3rd.
Final order cutoffs for the week due by Monday, November 24th. We have the Blood Brothers Mother Collected Edition from Brian Azzarello and Eduardo Riso at Distillery in stores on January 20th. Carmen Redclaw, Belly of the Beast #1 from Ray Allen and Mike Mignola at Dark Horse Comics on January 7th. The Collected The Last Boy from Dan Panosian and Alessio Avalone at Boom Comics on February 24th. And The War from Garth Ennis and Becky Cloonan at Boom, also on February 24th. Still crowdfunding. We have Tom the Dancing Bug from Ruben Bowling at Clover Press on Kickstarter through November 20th, and How to Draw 2026 from Terry Moore at Abstract Studio on Kickstarter through November 28th. Check out my recent conversations with both of them. 3 amazing books this week. I didn't even read all the books that I wanted to read this week. I didn't even come close to reading all the books that I wanted to read this week. And it was still a tough call because Comfortless was really good. Check out my discussion with Miguel Vila. Kaya's always good. I didn't even manage to wrap up Batman Dark Patterns, but that's been amazing. Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees Rites of Spring was amazing. Really, really enjoyed the conclusion of We're Taking Everyone Down with Us. And I didn't even manage to get a copy of Die.
You didn't?
I didn't. I had
Oh my
neglected to order it
goodness.
from my old shop,
Oh,
and
oh,
it's not digital yet.
oh
Well, I
no.
haven't read it yet, so
Oof,
soon. I'm
okay.
certain I'll read it.
Lips are
Um,
zipped.
but honestly, I don't completely mind because A, I knew you'd talk about it, and B, it
Mhm.
would have made it even more difficult for me to decide my top book
Right.
because number one with a bullet is they've finally collected Paul Pope's legendary THB.
Mm.
And now I get to know why it's legendary because it's
Oh,
really freaking good.
yeah, Paul Pope's
Volume
pretty
one
fucking
is
good.
out right now. This is like his, not quite his earliest work, but like this was his like, oh, there are people self-publishing and it's working. I'm gonna do that too. Book from like the late 80s or early 90s. And it's a sci-fi thing set on Mars with uh, uh, robots and kids, and I don't even know how to describe it except that it's beautiful and fun, and I'm certain that the deeper into it I get, the more it will also become like layered and brilliant. I can see it already, but I'm not deep enough. I'm like 2/3 through the first volume of what will be 3.
Oh
And I
wow.
feel like things are still kind of being set up. We
Yeah.
know that the characters uh under attack. We don't know enough about her or her family or the world to know the whys and wherefores and whatnot. Um and it has some cool sci-fi stuff to boot. Including THB, the character itself being essentially a bouncy ball that when you get it wet turns into a big spongy um protector.
Wow.
Yeah,
That does sound fun.
with a sense of humor.
Of course.
American Caper One, Dan Hauser, Laszlo, David Lapham from Dark Horse. I'm so looking forward to talking to this team on Monday night. Um, eh, yeah, Mormon Hitman,
You
America
said,
at
did
its best.
you say a Mormon hitman?
I did.
Wow.
Um, City Beneath Her Feet, number 2 from James Tinian and Elsa Chartier at Distillery. Uh, I mean, I just love Elsa. I love Elsa's work so much. But Tinian does some pretty good work himself, and this is essentially like a love story between a writer and we got a theme here, a
Hmm.
secret hitman.
Oh, interesting.
um yeah. Yeah, those 3 books are absolutely amazing. Tyler, why or not Tyler, Phil,
Yeah.
Phil, Phil, you don't even really look like Tyler. You've got way too much hair.
I was just
Um,
about to say, I'm like,
yeah, way too
you
much
know,
hair. Um, let's take a walk.
oh yeah, it's walking time. This was a big week for me, comics wise, being two of my favorite series coming out on the same day. First up, the Power Fantasy number 13 from Gillen, Wingard, Coles, and Hughes.
Hey, hey.
Yeah, I'm working, I just want to show that I'm capable of learning. That's one of those, it's just one of those things that's important to me. Um,
On the eighth or ninth try, most people get there.
yeah, you know what?
With
It's
Bill, it only took 12.
better late than never. We'll see how long I can keep this streak of correctly pronouncing people's names who I've read this name for years. But the Power of Fantasy, it was great. It was a great issue. The book continues its roller coaster unveiling of every issue twist. It is a book where it is simultaneously on and off the rails at the same time. It's doing the impossible. It's a tightrope act. It also has me thinking about the nature of power quite a bit, and this idea of who are the people that have power, and then even amongst those that have it, who are the ones that are actually using it, and what are they using it for? That's always a question. And then, of course, the other big book for this week is the start of Die Loaded #1, the simultaneously a new series and a sequel series. It again does the impossible of, hey, this is a follow-up, but it is also going in its own directions and doing its own things. The first moment that I got a glimpse of what those other things were was actually the back of the series, where instead of an unfurled D20 like the design on the front, it was a D12. It was a D12 back there. So that immediately had me thinking, oh shit, this is a different beast. And it really is. And that's also got me thinking about the nature of fantasy. And because Tad hasn't read it, I won't spoil him the thing that because I also, as much as I love the series, I avoided any hints of what the details to the plot were, simply because I like being surprised. And so,
I don't
and
care as much
yeah,
about being surprised, but
that's okay. Yeah, but it was a good time. I'm so excited for where this series is going. If you haven't read the original, now's a great time. But also jump in, see if you like it. It's absolutely stupendous. Ted, how's One Piece been?
I read no One Pieces.
For the first time since I've joined
No,
the
it's at
One
least
Piece
the
race has
second
become.
time.
No, I meant
It's at least the second time.
the first time that I've read more chapters of manga than you.
Oh,
Because
okay.
before when you haven't read any, I probably haven't read any too.
You've also not read any. Okay.
But I actually did manage. It was just this morning
You
before,
read a chapter of Mob Psycho
Yeah,
100.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, well, so I need to do a full count because I'm through chapter 4. So somehow, yeah. So it was one of
Oh.
those.
So you did 1.5 chapters before and you
Yeah,
read 2.5 more.
yeah. So I'm gonna turn that starting next week. I'm gonna turn that into the full tally of what chapter I'm on of Mob Psycho 100.
Okay.
Similar to how you're tracking One Piece. And of course, the extremely pertinent quote from those chapters of "We got to seize the day and do nothing while we still can."
I mean, 6, 7, baby.
Yes, the characters of Mob Psycho 100 are absolutely 670ing their little hearts out.
Okay.
Oh,
So
this
let
week's
us get into great responsibility. We decided,
heck yeah.
um, I decided that I was going to do it literally as a table read. I didn't read it. I didn't
Oh,
reread it this week.
okay.
Um,
Yeah,
uh,
it was
uh,
it's something, all
but
right.
it's the beginning of our fifth season, and it's one of the great stories of our namesake
Oh yeah.
Wally Wood. Um, and on top of that, I mean, just on this first page, I see 4 of the 22 panels.
Really? All four of the
All
panels
four
are
of them.
are holy. I mean, this goes to show I am not as fully familiar with the 22 panels as you are, because that was a thought I had as I was reading of, oh, I wonder how many of those aforementioned
Here, let me
22
let
are
me
in
see
here.
if I have it easy to pull up.
Yeah, because it's also one of those things where, I mean, this. I mean, this strip, this little story was honestly a little surreal to read because it's something that I'd heard of. I'd heard of quite a bit from having been a fan of Alan Moore's and
All right.
around comics. Okay.
So,
Well, okay, so just because there's a big head in a panel doesn't mean it's the big head panel. Okay. I just
well, I'm gonna say no, no,
yeah.
no. The first panel
Uh-huh.
is uh, what the bigger one?
It's
The
funny because
the
I've got them side by side. So,
the
okay.
first panel I would actually say is a full figure open panel, only he
Oh.
put a background in.
Uh, this might be a stretch. Might be a
Well, I
stretch.
mean, it is and it isn't
Yeah.
because like these are like
S-
bases, and because it's a
Right.
splash panel, like
Hmm.
the background is just something that needs to be there, and it's a set of gags, and it almost
Yeah,
looks like the Superman was just laid over it.
it really does. It really, really does.
Okay.
Which is pretty damn funny.
The second panel,
Sorry, that's a legally distinct super duper man.
right, right.
Yeah.
The second panel is a variation on the car
Yeah.
or the newspaper, where you're just drawing
Uh,
something and putting the stuff there. The third panel is literally the frame.
yes, third panels, I can see that. That's the frame. Yeah, he's doing it through the open window.
A- And the fourth panel is the downshot or the
Downshot?
full.
But there's no shadow, so I don't think it's a downshot. I think that's the full figure open. Well, it's not an open
It's
panel,
not
but
an
yeah.
open frame.
Yeah.
Um, but again, like the point is, this is the cheat sheet.
Yes.
You're going to be mixing and matching
Right,
some.
right. And it's I think those are more I do think that yes, the third panel there frame, that's obviously there. That's a reference to it. I think even the second one, I'm not I think maybe the where it says small fig Bende.
Well, but and this is where
Hmm.
some interesting ways to get some variety into those boring panels where some dumb writer has a bunch of lame characters sitting around and talking for page
Sure.
after page.
Right,
So,
right.
so I mean, even when it's not directly the thing, what it
Hmm.
is like, oh, we can start with this,
Uh-huh.
and
And you're
then
right.
as you have time, if you feel like it,
Hmm.
you add other shit.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And it is interesting to see that okay, you've got, your big cityscape full of gags with a punch in the middle, and then the three panels are a building, a window, and what's inside the window.
Right.
And that progression, I mean, that's a an opposite. I mean, the fact that this strip opens up with let's look at a skyscraper and go into the window and see who's in the skyscraper, and then Watchmen opens with someone being thrown out the window of a skyscraper is like it's it's wild. This thing is like it's like a damn Rosetta Stone, you know, um, to where, and I mean, and what I mean by that is not. I don't mean that in a disparaging way. I mean that in an
No, I mean, this is why I push back anytime somebody makes a joke about
uh-huh.
like, 22 panels that are always boring or whatever. It's like, it's that A, you're missing the point,
Hmm.
and B, um, it's more about the lexicon than about
Yes, absolutely.
simplifying,
Oh yeah, yeah.
you know. I do also love the fact that Clark Bent,
Hmm.
um, is the assistant to the copy boy.
That's I'm like, holy shit. I'm like the
And
Office is
and and
pulling a joke from this strip.
right.
Like, wow, that was
Yeah,
another
yeah.
thing of just holy shit. Um,
Um and Wood does, I mean, you can tell, I mean, the ones that definitely aren't from those panels are when he can
mhm.
start doing motion.
Yes.
I
The
mean,
slapstick.
the way he does slapstick, the way he does sound effects, the way he does the bulging eyes when he goes past the
Right.
room, you
Yeah,
know,
the implication of X-ray vision on the ladies' room, yeah.
right.
It's and I guess what's also sort of startling about this to me, because that in all the talks about Superduperman, I think Clark Bent being as big and obvious creep as he is was the piece that was most missing. And it's interesting how, wow, so people have been, so first of all, let's establish a little bit of context. When did this strip come out? When was this
This would
published?
have been
It says
uh
Mad number 4. I'm looking at the Indicia now. It says April or May, yeah, April, May 1953,
yeah.
volume 1, number 4. So even back in 1953, right after the, oh wait, no, this is right
And if
before.
it's listed as if it's listed as April, May
Uh-huh.
at the time, that means it actually came out in January.
Okay. Okay.
Because for a long time the date was like it was kind of like when it was
Those are the
supposed to
poll
come
dates.
off the shelf rather
Right.
than when it came on the
Okay.
shelf.
So this was now 3 years before the Silver Age began with, Barry Allen and the reboots of DC. So this strip is even at a very interesting point in time of it's making fun of superheroes when they're arguably at their lowest. And it's not just making fun of the superheroes themselves, but it's making fun of the people who are still fans of them after all these years, you know, um, of pointing out that, wow, these are people who are, you know, the sloven, detestable dregs of society, but they see themselves as the heroes, you know. And to imagine that thought that feels like a defining aspect of comic books and comic book fandom throughout the 20th century started in 53 before the industry even looked like remotely how we imagine it today, you know.
Well, because I mean, I think just as important is that when were the Wortham hearings?
Oh, I think they would have been before this. So let's look that they would
I'm
have been a
not
bit before
certain
this.
actually,
Well, because they that the let's look him up, Frederick Wortham, but
because this is when Mad was still a comic rather
uh-huh,
than a um magazine. Yeah,
uh-huh.
so 1954.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's correcting the timeline for me a little bit. So this was a year before Seduction of the Innocent, which
I
led
don't know if it
to,
was before Seduction of the Innocent because I think Seduction of the Innocent got
well, it says here
kind of
his
pulled up for the hearings.
well,
So
it
I mean
says
that's
his
how they
best known
found
book is,
Wortham.
yeah, but I mean, at least Seduction of the Innocent has a publication date of April 19th, 1954.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Then strike that.
yeah,
I thought the book might have been earlier and but yeah.
yeah. So that's okay. So yeah, it was 1954 comic book hearing. So it really was 1 year. Wow. Okay, so this is fascinating to me. So superheroes were already dead. Superheroes were already dead and gone, and the comic book
I
hearings
mean,
happened a year after this.
they essentially brought back superheroes because they're the only
Yeah.
way that like I mean, first of all, they volunteered and wrote the comics code
Uh-huh.
um in a way that was deliberately designed to just destroy EC Comics.
Yes, fully, 100%.
Um, but it kind of left them with nothing that they could do but superhero comics.
Yeah, absolutely.
Superhero
So,
comics and like Duck comics.
yeah, the talking animals.
And for 10 years, you know, DC floundered with like some basic superhero stuff. It was probably the heyday of talking animal comics.
Yeah.
And then Stan figured out a way to do superheroes in a meaningful way that was still just barely inside the code.
Yeah, and so it really does look like, you know, the DC Silver Age had Stay in the Sun from 1955 when Barry Allen Flash appeared to, 61 when the Fantastic Four started to show up.
Mhm.
So that is absolutely fascinating to think of the progression of culture and society and these
Uh, uh,
concepts.
uh, uh, but I mean, we're also you could argue that this is taking a shot at um
Superman?
whether it's Stan in particular or just a lot of people in the business, because who's the who's the guy in charge?
Oh, wait. The guy in charge of
Is his kid.
yeah.
The guy in charge is the son of, I tell you why I called you old man. It's payroll.
Uh-huh.
You
So
know,
wait, so
so
where
so
so the copy
oh,
boy is
I'm sorry.
the
I saw the old man. Oh,
uh-huh.
is he the copy boy?
Yeah, that's the copy boy.
Oh, okay. But even so, like you get that feeling. I mean, so often the money men, particularly in comics, were these
Uh-huh.
these kids that were like, I mean, Stanley was a kid, but he was
Yeah.
like uh the publisher's nephew
Yeah.
or cousin or whatever, right?
He was related to him somehow.
Right. And not in a way that Goodman didn't actually care. I mean, when
Mhm.
Lee got pushed out was when Goodman's own son needed a job.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And at that point, Lee wasn't really family.
No.
um,
Yeah. It's I guess again, I would who I really wish we could get the opinion of on this right now is one Howard Chaykin to get the sort of names behind the drawings and
yeah, yeah.
the interpersonal relationships between the people who are doing all these
But
things.
yeah, no, I mean, again, just going back to the comic at hand, like panel structures, um,
Gosh, the way he crawls from out of a
style,
trash can.
right?
Yeah.
There's just so much comics language
Hmm.
crammed into this one story. Then he's replaced by Captain Marbles,
Yep. Captain
Big Money
Marbles.
Sign,
Big money marbles.
right?
Oh yeah.
Shazoom, Strength, Health, Aptitude, Zeal, Ox, Power of
Power of
Ox,
another money.
Power of Another, and Money.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that was pretty good too. And I do love how Superman's S symbol is constantly changing throughout
Right,
this.
right.
Um, I wonder how much his S symbol had changed already in this in these 10
Almost every
years.
artist had, I mean, they didn't have the same style code,
Yeah.
because things hadn't been, and like not 10, 15. Superman was like 38.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So that was a
Um,
good while.
but yeah, no, Wally Wood's humor. I mean, I love the tickling here under the armpit.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was
Um,
quite funny.
I mean, this establishes like, I mean, not that it hadn't been established from issue one, but this is like
Hmm.
a great example to show people of just how great Mad Magazine
Yeah.
is.
And again, this supposedly heroic figure that is
Mhm.
just mocking and jumping
Right,
around like an idiot, and of course doesn't actually do anything, but just gets the other guy to punch himself in the face.
right.
Again, I can't help but feel like that's some kind of metaphor for the industry and what was
And
going on
and
at
of
the time.
course, Shazoom is the copy boy.
Oh, he is?
Looks like it.
No, 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 that was a different guy. That was the he was a boy reporter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was like the photographer or something like that. But
But it's another like little,
yeah, it is another kid. That's the other funny thing is
yeah,
there's
another,
so many like children or small people around here.
which is probably some sort of mild statement about how all of these comics are just talking down to them,
Yeah,
um, when they don't need that.
yeah, that's for
They
sure.
they I mean, just I'm not even reading half the words here. I'm
Right.
just
Oh,
looking at the pictures, man,
yeah, same,
and
same.
like,
So many of these illustrations are incredible. The
uh,
one of Superduperman lifting up the building to tip it over on Captain Marvel's. That
right,
sentence in and of itself is astounding, but just the visual
right,
of it is wild.
right. But like to just, I mean, this is kind of like it's worth going through
Hmm.
um that first Spider-Man story every once in a while because it's amazing
Yeah,
what they did in 11 pages.
yeah.
Like
I I know I've read it at one point in my life.
this is an 8-page story, and
Yeah,
it's like,
crammed, absolutely
well, but
jam-packed.
beyond that, it even while it's satiring it,
Uh-huh.
it's it's
It's
also like
doing what they do
a
better.
a crash course on how to make a good superhero comic.
Yep, it really is. It really is.
Crash
Um,
course on how to make a good funny comic.
uh-huh.
To a certain extent, crash course on making a comic, period.
Yeah.
But like
I think let's see how many panels per
the way
page
you
that
can
is.
follow this story without reading it,
Uh-huh.
the way that it's funny, the way that there are little jokes hidden in the back.
Yes.
Here's Super Snooper, and you got like a, a, a kid with a pipe.
It's also incredible how the first page is 4 panels and then every page after that is 7.
Yeah. Well, and they're actually mostly the same 7.
Yeah, it's they do have 3 strips, 2 twos and a three. So yeah, they just kind of reposition that
Right.
over and over. And again, I love how they end
I mean,
on
the only page that really seriously breaks the form is page 4, where it's the
oh, that's
three
actually
equal
8.
panels on top. Yeah, it is 8. But also like rather the second 3-panel line, they're not
Uh-huh.
equal panels.
Right, right.
But you also have the Super Duper Man.
Uh-huh.
I mean, the coming out of the phone booth, and I love the stack of clothes.
Yep, yep. It's pretty good. And I do love the idea that even at the time people were pointing out this is a guy who regularly gets naked in phone booths.
Yeah,
This is a weirdo.
yeah.
Oh,
Well, and going into the phone booth with the woman in it,
uh-huh, uh-huh.
I mean, it's just like again, it bonk, 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 crunch,
Yep.
crunch.
Yeah. The sound effects are a little overboard in a fun way.
Eh,
Um,
I mean, yes, and I don't even know if I agree that they're overboard. I mean, seriously, when Superman is jumping,
mhm.
do you really think he does that silently?
No, but
And when he hits the wood floor rather than
I guess
the
I more of mean like, in modern comics, I tend to lean away from the sound effects, and this one is going all in on them and
yeah.
then some.
But I actually, I mean, the two things that like, yes, there were times that were overused, and but I don't think that that should have led to them being not used at all. The two
Yeah.
things that I think that about are sound effects
Uh-huh.
and thought bubbles.
Yeah, I see, and that's the thing is that sound effects. So my absolute favorite sound effects ever are ones that are embedded in the art, like the way Frank Quitely does them in All-Star Batman Robin, and I think All-Star Superman, they do it that way too. But those kind of sound effects I think are absolutely incredible. Um, thought bubbles. Yeah, I agree. It's one I haven't found.
Thought bubbles shouldn't be used for exposition,
Yeah, agreed. Agreed.
but that doesn't mean that they don't have a massive purpose, and like taking them out of your toolbox is just not.
Also agreed. Yeah. They are a little antiquated, I think, but I think they're
I
about
say
ready
as I
for
realize that there are no thought bubbles in this, but
but
I mean
it's
that could have everything to do with like there arguably being no thoughts occurring.
um but yeah, no, I agree with that. I think thought bubbles do need a renaissance of sorts, and you know, it's interesting because in manga, I feel like they're not thought bubbles, but they have interior thoughts of characters
They do.
and multiple characters a lot
Hmm.
more readily available and expected. So,
Yeah, I'm still accustomed, and I feel like there's a book coming soon
uh-huh.
that
I mean, I can tell you
has
they've perfected the art of a bubble from someone speaking off panel, and the fact that American
right.
comics haven't caught up with that is a minor travesty, in my opinion.
Um, I mean, just like there's the and I need to get this book, the Lexicon of Kamikana
Hmm.
by Mort Walker. I
Yeah.
feel like there's a book coming soon that
Well, I
is
know there's an online like
um
glossary of comic terms that I've looked up a few times, but I don't quite remember the website name or who put it together. But it's good stuff.
yeah, no, there are a number of them. I just felt like there was a book coming soon that had kind of the lexicon of um see I need this book, the lexicon of Kamikana, which has the Grolixes and
Hmm.
tautology and protostulation, cross-hatching. Yeah. Um, but I feel like there's one coming up that I saw for manga
Oh wow.
um that is also like fascinating to me to be able to possibly have a book that really breaks down the lexicon
Hmm.
of manga. Um, hmm, not on our list of
I
awaiteds
think
collections.
I would love to hear someone try to articulate the way they differentiate between the times where your panel flow is more horizontal versus more vertical.
Right.
And I mean, that's one of those things that, you know, the fact that a page can start with two different possible reading directions. And again, they do it much more frequently than you see in American comics or European comics, anything like that. And so the fact that they have that modularity on the page is amazing to me. And I think they can probably get away with it more because it's more culturally widespread. Everybody reads some kind of comics, and
This one.
when you have that, you can start expanding the techniques that you use, and you know, because people are used to it. I still remember back in college, I took one comic class because I went to college in a time where comics weren't really being talked about in universities too much, or at least if they were, it was in super specialized departments and programs, and
Right.
it wasn't at the forefront. And so it was an English class about comics, and I still remember we read Blankets, and I mean, I loved it. I really enjoyed it at the time, but talking about it in class, I still remember there was someone who every page was questioning like, why did they drop the panels there? Why did they do, basically like every single image they were questioning, why did they draw like this? Why did they draw like this? And I felt like I had an explanation of like, well, that's supposed to emphasize like the openness. And it was just one of those things of like realizing like, wow, you're looking at every single panel like like a newborn. Like you have no idea what intentions could be behind this. And I'm looking at this like, well, that's just the way it goes. That's how it is. And it's about the feelings it evokes more than what is literally being said. And it felt like, English people who had mostly read books and had read comics were being flabbergasted and didn't know how to interpret non-word lines.
Right. Right. So, yeah, everybody should treat themselves to Mad Magazine #4, either physically or digitally, if for no other reason than to read Superduperman.
Oh yeah, I will say that
Um,
I love the scanned version where you can see like the deterioration of the physical page over the digitized perfect color version. Just because sometimes those look a little bit surreal to me
it
because
is
that's
fun.
yeah, oh yeah, and I
It
love I
is
love
it
that
is fun.
that aspect of comic collecting.
Yeah, this is definitely one that I want a physical copy of at some point. I'm afraid to find out how much they
I was
cost.
about to say when you have a personal vault as part of your
Yeah.
comic collection.
Oh, I actually am willing to bet that it's not as expensive as
Oh yeah.
it should be.
That's funny. That's funny.
I mean, that's just not how comics work. Haven't you noticed that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So, according to Go Collect, um,
Oh, they
uh,
the
a
here
9.6
uh-huh.
resold for 8,500.
Yeah, I saw
But
I don't know if that widget on the side of this website is like a graph of the price of this issue over time, but if it
but
is, that's hilarious.
that's all graded, and
Yeah.
who gives a fuck about a graded one? Because like you want to
Yeah.
be able to read it.
The only reason you'd buy a slab comic is so you can set it free.
Yeah, but then you got to overpay for a slab comic.
Exactly. Exactly. You're doing rescue work there.
Um,
Oh, that's funny that Valhalla Mad is coming up in the search results. I read that book. That was pretty fun. I think that was Dan McDade and Joe Casey. Pretty sure. Yeah, it
that
says Joe.
sounds
Oh no,
right.
Art Paul Mayberry. My apologies. I knew it was someone that had worked on Catalyst Comics with Casey.
It looks like you can get a, unslabbed one for 102.50
That's not that bad. That would,
from
see now that
what
is
well, except that this is what discount are you, so I don't even know if
oof.
that's a real
That's fair.
um oh, here
Oh,
we go.
Google at your own
eBay.
peril. Our
eBay is
trustworthy.
a good place.
Except
Okay,
that is the
that's the
wrong Mad
wrong
number four.
that's the 2018 Mad #4.
It's a 2018 Mad number four, and they're making a Shining reference.
Well, they're mostly doing reprint type stuff
Oh,
in the new
I see.
um
By the way, you mentioned you wanted to be tight this episode.
yes, yes, yes.
This is our
Um
this is us at our tightest, dear listeners.
so anyway, I'm not finding a good price on it at
That's
the
okay.
moment, but well, actually, here
I
we
mean,
go.
a hundred bucks for a beat up copy didn't seem like the worst.
Well, no, how about this?
Yeah.
Buy it now, 15 issues of Mad. The cover to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14, 15, 16, and 18. All of them,
Yeah.
you can buy it now for $2,000, or
Yeah.
the low bid with 2 hours left is at 12.50. So
Man.
that puts it at about $100,
Yeah, ish. Give or take.
which is actually a little bit higher than I expected, but like not, but it makes me happy.
Yeah.
And here's a selection with 3, 4, 5, 8, and 14 for 1,000.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah. It's
So
and
that
it's
that means that there is enough appreciation that it's not cheap, but
mhm,
still because it doesn't have the first appearance of whoever
sure.
um is um not expensive for a 1950s comic.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna
Which
say
I
talking
mean,
about
that's part of what we should think about. This is a comic that's like 70 years old,
holy shit, yeah.
and you can get it for $100.
Wow.
So anyway, let's talk what we hope will be spectacular next week. Dracula Book 2, The Brides from Matt Wagner and Kelly Jones comes out. I've read it. It is spectacular. I also encourage people to pick up Absolute Martian Manhunter Volume 1, Black Hammer Volume 9, Spiral City, and Monstrous Volume 10. Uh, I've read two of those, and the third I am anxiously awaiting. But my picks, and this is another so hard. I can't, I mean, I left off John Le Carre. John Le Carre's The Circus. So like smiley type books being written by Matt Kent and drawn by Ibrahim Mustafa didn't make my top three. Um, Wonder Woman didn't make my top three. Powers 25, number three, didn't make my top three.
Wow.
Because my top three, Lazarus Fallen number six. Lazarus Fallen is just
Oh,
it gets my top spot almost automatically right now.
yeah. Yeah, it's
Good is
so
Dead
good.
number three from David and Maria Lapham. And
Nice.
Chris Condon and Jeffrey Allen Love are wrapping up news from the Fallout.
Here we go.
So yeah,
Sounds like a fun
that's
one.
my three.
Indeed. And of course, I am also very, very excited for Lazarus Fallen number six, as that series has been spectacular, astounding, what have you. Yeah, it was funny. The one week I didn't read it the day it came out, and you were like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" And then I read it immediately after this issue, and I was like, "You're right. What the fuck is wrong with me?"
Right.
That's how good this book is. Of course, Monsters Volume 10. I am also excited for, as we will be talking about it shortly. So I've got some catching up to do, and of course, I noticed they are putting out a trade paperback of Anzuelo from Emma Rios, which I have the hardcover. It's fantastic. I'm a little stunned at the volume one that they've put on both the hardcover and the
Yeah,
trade paperback here, and I'm like,
I don't think that I think that's just because they often
yeah,
do that
that's probably
for
some autofill defaulting.
uniformity and
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
So
but it's
yeah,
great. Some of the best drawings of water you will ever see.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. All right. That's another one in the books. The beginning of season five, Wally Wood and Superduperman and 6-7. So we'll see you after the next page.
but is it six or seven?
You're not funny, Phil. You're not funny. Let me try that again. For 22 panels, we will see you after the next page.